Thanks, Phil. Also, I want to thank the NSRA for letting us present here today. It's a great opportunity for us to show you all our software. And I think this has been a great event, better than kind of I've seen in the past. So we put together a short video, 15 minutes, to give an overview of the software. So while the video is going on, take notes, think of the questions you want to ask, and then we'll get into a question and answer afterward. We've been building this software for the last 10 years. For the first 5 years, we built it for our own internal purposes, and around 6 years ago, we opened it up to third parties, and we currently have 50 companies using the software and kind of adding to that every month. And I'll get the video started.
If you're an existing rent-own company doing, let's say, 500 to a couple thousand contracts, RTO Smart will be a great solution for you because chances are you're going to scale that business. You're going to get into other states, you're going to grow your footprint, you're going to be managing more customers. RTO Smart has an easy, efficient way to help you and your staff do that without having to hire a lot of people, without having to become more technical, and all of the things that might come along with scaling your business.
We're at the convention, one, to see all of our existing clients. It's really great to see them, meet them, but also to present our software to potential new clients to see if we can provide value to their businesses and see if they'd be a good fit to use our software. In today's presentation, we're going to be covering the full scope of our software from contract origination. Testimonials from some customers, and kind of see how all the different aspects of the business can fit in, from dealers, customers, support, repossession or retrievals, and finance and accounting.
I see RTO Smart being the future of the market. We're very innovative, we're constantly making upgrades, we're constantly improving it. Our ownership is always going to trade shows to see what type of AI, phone systems, payment processing providers we can integrate into our system to make sure that all of the companies using RTO Smart have the best possible solution. I truly believe that if you're not on RTO Smart going into the future, you might be doing a disservice to your dealers,
Frustrated with existing solutions on the market at that point. There was nothing really integrated or easy to use for our customers and our dealers' finance team. We brought RTO Smart to market in 2020 for a couple different reasons. One was one of our own manufacturers wanted to start their own rent-own business, and we wanted to continue to do business with them. So we brought them on to RTO Smart, helped them start their own rent-own business. But also, we were getting feedback from others in the industry that they were also frustrated with the existing solutions. So thought it was a good opportunity to bring to the market, help more companies, help more people, and really streamline RTO operations for companies that use the software.
So when companies come to us and seek us out as a potential solution, some of the pain points that they describe is their legacy system is hard to use. They can't access it from anywhere. Sometimes it's important for your dealers to be able to sell a building from their house or on the road or at their office. And sometimes they have to have multiple logins for different investment companies, rent-own companies, etc.
A lot of the other software solutions are legacy software, not web-based. Their finance team maybe is not using the same application as their customer service. Customer service and asset management, maybe you're using different softwares. It's very difficult for the customer to log in to see what's going on with their contract, make a payment. So one of the big benefits we've created with RTO Smart is having everything under one roof here. Everyone's using the same software. There's only one source of truth, and it really helps streamline the business for all parties involved.
RTO Smart is a start-to-end solution, meaning it can do everything from originating a contract, collecting a signature, taking the first month's rent, and then it moves over to your staff. The staff will use RTO Smart to manage that customer and that contract all the way through the duration of hopefully ownership, but potentially also a retrieval. You can export that and send it into any type of report that your financial institution might require or that your investors might require. So again, RTO Smart is taking it from the very first time that the customer is introduced to this potential sale all the way through your financial institution, sorting through your data and helping you guys run your business.
We've made RTO Smart simple to use over the last 10 years for the different types of users that are using the software, from our customer service team, the finance team, accounting, the end consumer, dealers, dealer support, dealer reps. Everyone can use RTO Smart, and they're using the same software to really drive business goals.
One of the first tabs we have here is the contract tab, and the way I like to think about it is this is kind of where the first half of the customer rent-to-own process takes place. So in this tab is where you would generate your contract, get your signatures, run your down payment, and upload any attachments you might require. For example, photocopy of a driver's license or an invoice or something like that. To add a new contract to the system is very easy. You can just click this Create Contract button at the top left. And then it'll put you in this form where you can fill out all of the contract information, customer information, asset information, and here you can put the asset information. If you offer multiple products, they'll all be listed there. You can input your brand, serial number, model, size, and then here's where you can put your cash price, and you can select your term options over here to the right, and the terms are very customizable. So you can select, what term options you want to offer, what their divisors will be, what their down payments will be. Once you generate the contract, it will appear here in your contract listing. From there, you can do some additional actions on the contract. So you can move the contract throughout the different statuses by clicking the arrow here to the right of the status, and you can move that contract around. You can also do some additional actions over here to the right. So you can view a timeline or a history of the contract, see who generated it, when did you send it for signature, when did the customer sign, when did you approve it, things like that. It's also an area where you can leave notes on the contract. So if you or any of your dealers have access to the contract, they'll be able to see and leave notes. You also have some additional actions here where you can upload files or attachments. You can add tags to a contract. You can send a contract for electronic signature via text or email. You also have a document upload link, so you can text and email your customer a link and they can upload attachments directly from their phone or computer, and they will appear in your attachments area for the contract. And you can also run the down payment on the contract with this option here. And then there are additional options here. You can view the contract, view some contract highlights like address, term length, things like that. Then you can expand asset information, like you can see asset ID, asset type, monthly payment, things like that. And you can also expand the full contract, which I believe is 4 or 5 pages long. So you can read through it. If the customer has signed, it will show the signature here as well. And then you can view your different attachments that you've uploaded onto the contract. For the second half of the customer rent-to-own process, you manage from the customer tab. So in the customer tab, you can locate your customer and open their account over here to the right. From here, you can see your customer information at the top, the customer name, contact information, customer calls in and wants to make a payment. There's a pay button at the top that you can click to run a payment. You also have some different tabs here on the customer account. So you have a payment tab, which will list out any payments that have been recorded on the account via card or ACH or manual payments. You'll also be able to view any invoices that have been generated for the account, whether those are paid or past due, or have just been sent to the customer. You have another account page here, similar to the one we looked at from the contract tab, where you can view contract highlights, you can view asset information, contract information. You also have payment schedules here, which is very similar to autopay, which you also have the option to do autopay, but payment schedules are a little bit more flexible in that you can adjust the frequency and the amount of the automatic payment. So, for example, if your customer wanted a $50 payment to come out every Friday, you can manage your payment schedules from here. And then you have another area where you can leave notes on the account. You also have an asset tab, which is pretty simple at the moment. So when you generate a new rent-to-own contract, it will create the system will create an active asset in your asset tab. From here, you can manage kind of the life cycle of the asset. So when the contract is first generated, the asset will be active. From there, you can move the asset around. Maybe customer requests pickup or customer pays off. Those things will affect the status of the asset. You can add unlimited you can create an unlimited amount of users and organization types. Here you have some preloaded reports that are, some of them are accounting, some of them are customer-based reports. So like you have aging, sales tax, balance on lease reports, things like that for accounting. And on the customer side, you have things like a past due accounts report or a auto pay report or things like that. So you have those preloaded reports in the system, and you also have access to a report writer where you can generate your own custom report. So you can pull in whatever fields or filters you want on the report, and then you can export that report to PDF or Excel. And now you have this settings area where you can manage some of your different settings. So you can manage your branding, your colors, and your logo. You can manage your term settings. So if you do offer multiple products, you'll be able to manage the term settings of each product. So that would be things like whether or not you want to offer a liability program, or maybe you want a processing fee on everything, or a delivery fee, or maybe you want to adjust your term offering. So you also have this area where you can create your custom statuses
RTO Smart has been the perfect tool to grow our online sales. From generating contracts, e-signatures, and the deposit, this has been a flawless system for us.
We made the switch in 2019 to RTO Smart, and it was a great decision on our part. Some of the things that we love about RTO Smart is their customer service, right? When we pick up the phone, we call or email, we get a fast response. They're constantly innovating the software for us to better serve our customers. I would highly recommend you making the switch to RTO Smart.
RTO Smart was my best decision. It helped me and my business take it to the next level. Thank you.
Any of your staff trained, and our support staff would be there to support you. So our providers always feel like they're taken care of.
The go live strategy for a new provider is going to depend on the size of that provider. If you're a new company just looking to get into rent to own, we can have you up and running in 2 or 3 days, leveraging our existing templates, processes, procedures. If you're an enterprise customer with tens or hundreds of thousands of contracts, it'll take a little bit more time, but we're going to ensure that your processes, procedures are married into our software and it won't disrupt your business. So we grant access to all of the companies that are using RTO Smart to our internal templates that allow them to expand faster. However, if the company wants to import their own templates, we'll help them do that as well. RTO Smart is improving every day. The more customers we get in there using the software, the better it will be. We take our customers' feedback, and that's what drives the next iteration of the software. Our roadmap is currently large and robust, whether that's point of sale software, integrations with other software. We're on it, and it's going to keep getting better every day. There's a big team here at RTO Smart to support you. We have 8 full-time developers. We have dedicated project managers, onboarding specialists, customer service people. Overall, the team is 15 people currently, and we're continuing to grow that out as we grow ourselves.
When you decide to make the switch to RTO Smart, we take a very hands-on approach to make sure that it's a good experience. We understand that it's a lot of work to move the data over and to get your staff comfortable with the new system. Because of this, we have a near flawless process put together that we've executed with over 50 clients today. We use that process to make sure we understand your goals, how it works today, how you want it to work tomorrow, and we implement that into the system. We then will make sure we have a good training strategy in place, and then we'll have a go live strategy before we turn the light switch on for all of your staff and your dealers.
We see ourselves as a leader in the next generation of RTO software companies. We've been around for 10 years. Over 100,000 contracts have been generated and managed in the system. We're constantly making updates. The one thing it does not do currently is send money out to your dealers. Just because there's so much risk and things around that, it'd be terrible if that got messed up. So that is on the roadmap, but not something that currently the software does.
Question up front. What about links to the upfront Fed app or any of those other kind of things where they're actually creating contracts for your said purchase that would link over to RTO?
Absolutely. So one of the things we always look to do is to partner with other services. The best way to do this where it's seamless is with an API. So really the onus is just on that other service. They have a public API that we can access, that we can go ahead and build that software bridge where it comes over. Other ways around this that we have is most of these services will have some kind of a CSV export, and we have a CSV import function. So if you were to export from a service like the Shed app where you have the contract already generated, you can upload it seamlessly into RTO Smart. All that data comes over, all the calculations and everything, and the account will run correctly.
There's also an iframe that you can give to your dealers and your salespeople to put onto their website. So rent to own, apply now, they click the button, takes them into the contract generation portion. It's branded with your company logo, your colors, all of those things. So that's available for clients.
We're integrated with approximately 30 other software companies. Not all of those are kind of Shed specific, but we're very open to integrating with anyone and have already integrated with 30 different companies.
Question up front here?
Do you have, maybe I missed it, but do you have an open API where if you're a customer, you get to push contracts or manipulate data in the system via API?
Absolutely. So if you have something custom where you wanted to push data over to us, we absolutely can set you up with an API feature where you can send that over yourself.
And I guess to Tanner's a little bit, maybe a little more on Tanner's question, is it the expectation that you would use QuickBooks or another accounting package alongside this, or does this completely eliminate the need for that?
So the only thing that we're really missing here is just like employee payroll information, right? But this contains all of the expenses, all the revenues that are coming in direct association with the contract lifecycle. You can easily export out of RTO Smart. Again, through that report builder, you can build the export exactly how you want. So if you wanted to upload it to something like QuickBooks, Sage, Odoo, NetSuite, whatever you're using, it's very, very possible to do.
And sorry, keep the question box, but one more question. As far as data security, obviously this is a cloud platform that you guys have. I'm assuming it's the same tenant, everybody's data lives in the same house to a certain extent, so to speak. So what do you guys have in place to secure me as an RTO company that my data is not being used for training, AI models or maybe extracting information out of the RTO industry, that kind of thing? What security do I have?
So we have several layers of security. First kind of layer of security we have is a vaulting service. This protects your customer's information, card information. All that's tokenized in a secure server. The RTO Smart backend is only just accessing it and sending a token to it. It's not actually stored on ours. It's a separate service. And then we also have a very robust server plan ourselves, very secure and also disaster preventative. We have servers in different geographical locations, so if there's any natural disaster, war, what have you, you're right there inside of Keyport.
We have a very robust service agreement that outlines all of that, and essentially your data is locked down to just your data is your data, the other guy's data is his data, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. My concern was just around, obviously, when you have one company managing that many different RTO companies, you want to be sure that my data is not being used to produce some administrative report somewhere or whatever.
Yep. Question in the back?
The video you was talking about disruption to like business. Does it take like a long time to switch over? What's the process?
So it really depends on the entity that's coming over, right? Like I said in the video, if you're an enterprise type organization, that's where we're going to have to do a lot of work up front, understand your processes, figure out where the customizations in the software are that we can configure for you, the already existing ones, identify if there's anything that we need to build, because our goal is to make it easier for you to do your jobs, but also make sure that we can accomplish all functions. So that's kind of the big gray area here. But aside from that, if it's moving data over, if it's where if you say you got it managed in like QuickBooks or Excel or something pretty rudimentary, all that's pretty easy to get over. Our developers have experience with importing all those kinds of managed systems, if you will. And we can pretty much build it however you want it to. It's just really doing the work up front, figuring out what all needs to be done. Some, like Ryan said in the video, are a day or two. Some, can take longer than that, just depending on the degree of customization.
Yeah, and I would say our longest has taken 3 months, which is a long time, but kind of we make sure everything's right, make sure your business isn't disrupted, do on-site trainings if needed, make sure your staff's comfortable with the software, and any kind of customizations or configurations that might be needed.
And for larger customers, it's common for us to be on site with them when they go live. Hopefully there's no issues or anything like that, but we want to be there, all hands on deck type of approach to make sure your guys' business isn't disrupted. Yes, ma'am.
A question about costs. How does it work with like merchant processing fees, ACH fees? What are the monthly costs for those transactions?
Ryan, you want to take that?
Yeah, so we've tried our best, and I think we've done it. I think we have a superior product, but the way we get paid is through rebates from the merchant processing fees. So, and I think that's similar to how RTO Pro, for example, also makes money. But you'll have a merchant processing agreement with a merchant processor. We have 3 different options. We could integrate with more if needed. And let's say you're paying 2.9% on your credit cards. Essentially, kind of full transparency, they'll rebate us anywhere between 0.5% to 1% of that transaction cost. So that's the primary way we kind of get paid. There are a few other things that might cost you money, but they're essentially pass through. So text messages are $0.01 each, which is similar to what we're paying. If you integrate a letter sending service, that might also cost money. You can think of things of kind of transactional nature of sending it to a customer or something. We essentially pass those costs through, but we make the vast majority of our money from that 0.5% to 1% that we get rebated from the merchant processor.
How about any onboarding costs, or if they wanted to make the switch?
Sure. So there are some onboarding fees, and that essentially depends on how much customization you guys need and how many contracts you're pulling over. It's in my opinion pretty minimal. Generally less than a few $1,000s, could be more if it's much more customizable than that. And everyone here today does get $500 off that, and part of that is also us getting a commitment from you guys that you want to switch over to the software, put a little bit of skin in the game, so we're not spending a lot of resources getting you moved over if you're not going to use the software.
Are your fees just based on credit card, or is it on every transaction, including like we take a third of our payments come in cash or check form?
Sure. So we do charge a smaller fee on transactions that aren't credit card as well. So there is a small fee associated with those as well.
Okay, but it's not the 2.9%.
Sure. Yep.
Got about 10 more minutes. Any other questions?
So if I'm an end-use customer, I've got a share, what's the payment, say I don't want to call anybody.
Sure.
Pay my own. What are the options there?
Yep. And we've built the software to make it as self-service as possible for the customer. We know that the RTO companies aren't wanting to spend a lot of time. The 20% of the customers are going to take you the 80% of the time sort of deal. But they'll have plenty of ways to make a payment, kind of depending on kind of their preference, but they'll be getting emails, reminders set at the cadence that you guys would want, text reminders, etc. Hopefully they're in auto pay. We make it so simple for them to make a payment. They don't even have to log into the website. If we have if our vaulting service has a stored payment method, they can just respond to the text yes, and the system will automatically make their payment. So any kind of our philosophy is to make it so the customer can make a payment any way they want to make a payment and make it as smooth as possible for them.
And auto pay is integrated. I'm sure a lot of you guys already have that capability, but one additional thing that the system has that we got good feedback on is the ability to schedule payments. So instead of my payment drawing from my account every second of the month, I can set up to every other Friday or the fourth Tuesday of the month or whatever it is. So there's a lot of flexibility for those customers to self-serve kind of outside of auto pay as well.
Is there any payback to the dealers, the retailers on the financing end of it? I was in the furniture and mattress business for 40 years, and we get back kickbacks if we run certain contracts back into our pocket. Is there anything like that built into?
So RTO Smart is not we're a pure software company. As a dealer, you would still be working with another rent-to-own company, and they could have a program like that, but RTO Smart is only managing the contracts. We're not, it's not a rent-to-own company as well.
So a new business like you start up, I would need this and several other entities put together to perform all this.
Yeah, you would need, there's probably 20 or 40, 50 rent-to-own companies here at this event. You would sign up with one of them or set up your own rent-to-own company and use the software. As a dealer, you would not use the software without being connected with a rent-to-own company.
Yes, sir.
You want to talk a little bit about fraud recession, fraud prevention? Do you have anything for that? Addresses on the roadmap?
Yeah, so actually we have pretty robust systems already built in. We use a service called Persona for identity verification. It'll verify the physical ID. It takes a selfie and a video of the person that's applying, make sure that the two match. It crawls state databases too to make sure that, hey, it's a valid ID, this person's legit. Additionally, we use a service called Validify. How many people here have used Plaid before? All right, so a couple of y'all are familiar with it. Validify is very much the same kind of thing. Their customer will securely log into their bank account via the RTO Smart app. And what we do is our default setting with Validify is to return what's called an affordability score. So it takes the monthly or weekly payment, bi-weekly payment, however you have your contract set up, and it analyzes the customer's bank account and sees if they can afford that. But while it's doing that too, it's also crawling it to look for any fraudulent items or any malfeasance that might be going on. And then it returns a score of A through F. A being prime customer, go ahead, lend, good to go. F being, you should probably rethink this. We're continually building out this. We're working on additional products from our own data that we have from our own portfolio, and kind of trying to build out a very robust fraud tracking, so that way we can help each other stay safe.
And that verification, you can use as much or as little of that as possible. One kind of unique way we use it internally is not necessarily to approve or decline somebody, but if you're an A customer, maybe we treat you a little bit different than our D customer, right? Like if you're a D customer, I want to call you, I want to make sure I've introduced myself, I want to make sure you know who we are, I'm actually going to text you so you can save your number in my phone. We're going to kind of cater to them a little bit more to help them get on the right path. So you can use that verification process in a lot of different ways to enhance your business.
I would say this is a modular software, so I would say majority of the companies currently using the software are not doing these verifications or not doing these scorings, but people have asked us for it, so we added it, and you can use it if you want or not use it if you don't want.
Yep. How do you, I'm sure you probably say you support all 50 states as far as contracts. How does that work as far as, every new company kind of has a little bit of their own spin on contract rules, LDW, methodology, some might do flat rate, some might do percentage. How does that work to get all those rules that we have into your system? Is that just, custom stuff that you have to build out?
contracts, are those the exact same ones you want to move into the system? Hey, here's some templates that we've used if you want to look those over and integrate the two or change to this one. It's completely up to you. But during the onboarding, that's what we go over, and we make sure that it's exactly what you want it to be before we turn it on. And that goes for payments, divisors, contract, verbiage, anything. Got about 2 more minutes. Yeah.
Use tax jar for sales tax.
Yes, so in our software, we use TaxJar to ping the delivery address to get all the different municipality tax rates. We save them and we can report in the TaxJar format as well. If you wanted to as well, we could directly integrate TaxJar API to send the information for you to file. We don't provide that service default because it costs every time we ping the TaxJar API. But what we do for some of our clients that use TaxJar is provide that CSV output. It's the same one you use to import into TaxJar. And on the front end, we pay for the pings to get appropriate tax rates for all the jurisdictions.
Depreciation, do you depreciate the buildings?
Yes, so we have several depreciation methods built in default, and then we can, of course, build you a custom one. So the software supports running up to 3 simultaneously. We have book rate, tax rate, and then a custom rate of depreciation. Book rate, what we offer standard is first contract that the asset appears on divided by the term of that first contract, and then you do that for the life of the contract. We have an IRS tax one that we got from Jonathan Stiles, although you all had a chance to meet him. And we also can do income forecasting for depreciation as well, which many of you know just when you recognize it as an income. So in our business, depreciation is a beast.
I think it's cool that we're in the industry and we kind of can relate to what you guys are already doing, right? And we've evolved this software over the last 10 years. When you have kind of a third party step into the industry and try to build something like this out that hasn't ran a rent-owned company or managed contracts, there might be some things that they're missing or aren't familiar with just because they've simply never done it. I think it's unique being built by people in the industry.
I think we're about out of time, but I'd say if you're interested, set up a demo. Obviously, we only had 15 minutes for the video. There's a lot more the software can do. If you have ideas for it, we'd love to hear it, but would definitely love for anyone that is interested to set up a demo or consultation.
Thank you, guys.
So real quick, we are going to pray before we eat. So we're going to have separate prayer groups in each room. I don't know if that's any more special than us all praying together, but that is so that we can just go out, grab your lunch. The food is already set up. You can go do that. Head on over to your table. About 12:45 is when John Brandon, Mr. Funny Guy, gives us some belly laughs. But yeah, thank you guys. We really appreciate what you guys have done. Sponsors here at this event. So another round of applause for these guys. Okay, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you so much for this opportunity to come together with the groups of people, competitors, friends, but we can all come together and eat together. And we want to do that, and we want to honor you in doing that. We pray that you bless this food, bless this time, and this conference. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
You got a minute?
Yeah.
So is this a viable option for a small manufacturer like us that's wanting to start their own little small?
Yeah, for sure. We, I would say that's of the 50 customers, that's probably 25 of them that's have wanted to do that. So
That's where we're at. We've been in the business for almost 20 years. We've always used the BLIs and
Yep.
our plans. kind of do it on our own.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That's something I wish they had a class here for people.
Yeah, I would love to help you guys with that. And kind of another thing that you could do with this, if you don't want to dive all the way in, if you do, that's great. But you can send keep some of them yourself, send some of them to someone else, and then kind of as cash flow ebbs and flows, keep it or not. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a business going?
I do. That's our main thing here today is to figure this out.
Yeah, this is the right place to come for sure.
Yep.